Hey everyone, welcome to Thursdays here on the DVD Fiends. I'm Foz, and today we will be talking about Lost Boys, one of my all-time favorites, what's become pretty much a cult classic to everybody. I know it still has some haters, but come on, if you're up in the 80s, you love this movie. This is the 2-disc special edition right here, and no insert, but it does have the 2 discs, so nice disc artwork. I'm back on my fucking webcam, so it does show up a mirror image. I do apologize. But yeah, today I just wanted to do something that I really enjoyed and not have to worry about making all preparations for like a new one and just kind of go off the cuff with it. This is a movie I've seen more than probably any other movie ever. I've had 2 VHSs, the basic DVD, in the 2-disc special edition DVD. Whenever I finally make that Blu-ray jump, this will be one of the first Blu-rays I buy. If you don't know the story, it's about Michael and Sam, way back in the back there, Corey Haim. They moved to a new town, Santa Carla, California, with their mother to live with their grandfather, after the mom just had a messy divorce with the dad. They're kind of starting all over again. Well, they get to town, and, it's kind of like hippie bohemian town. It's 80s, so lots of, punks and lots of leftover dirtbag hippies hanging around. And the whole Santa Carla Pier, there by the ocean, is the main central focus point of the town. There's carnival rides, awesome bands playing that still believe. Comic book stores that used to be frozen yogurt shops, all kinds of cool stuff. But also within this, they start to notice, there's missing flyers everywhere. People just vanish all the time. When they're driving into town at the main beginning of the movie, you see greetings, welcome Santa Carla, which I actually have a postcard of somewhere. I need to find that. And you drive by it, and on the back of it says murder capital of the world. And later on, whenever Sam, Corey Haim, asks Grandpa about that, he goes, well, let's just say if all the corpses stood up at once, we'd have one hell of a population problem. So that kind of leads them to believe, okay, weird shit going on, but probably just drugs and everything. Well, Michael starts to notice this chick right here, Star, and really starts to fall for her. So he decides finally one night to ask her out. And they're going to go, and then all of a sudden, David, played by Kiefer Sutherland, and the rest of the Lost Boys, including Bill from Bill and Ted, show up, and they're like, nah, man, it's my chick. Want to race some bikes. So they're going to race some bikes. And, Sam's just off jerking off at the comic book store with the awesome Frog Brothers, who we'll get to in a minute. But Michael, goes on the on the awesome motorcycle race across the beach to the cliffs with the guys, and almost runs off and punches David. It's like, it's just you and me, man. Just you and me. And, David's like, how far are you willing to go, Michael? So they go back to their cave where Jim Morrison's hovering over them. And, they're hanging out, eating some Chinese food that turn into maggots and worms. All the fucking mind tricks that vampires can play. At this point, he still really doesn't know that they're vampires. He just thinks that they're okay, some dumbass kids that think they're badass, whatever. I'll play along with it because I want to fuck this chick. Anyways, finally they give him wine out of a bedazzled bottle, and he drinks it. And Star, right before he drinks, is like, Michael, don't, it's blood. He's like, blood, yeah, right. So, he takes a swig of it. And then they go and hang off some railroad tracks, as we see on this disc right here. That's what me and all my friends do, getting drunk on some blood wine and go hang off railroad tracks. And so anyways, he does that. And of course, he inevitably falls off and wakes up in his bed the next day. And he's becoming an asshole. And then he starts to notice that he's got a hunger, but not for the food around the house. And he's got an earring, which means you're a vampire. And one night, basically, him and Sam's alone in the house, and Sam's taking a bubble bath. And he tries to attack him. Nanook, the dog, by the way, who's a badass, is like, fuck no, it's mine. Attacks him. And then whenever he knows that the scar on his hand heals, he's like, holy fuck, I'm a vampire. And plus, around that same time, Sam sees him disappearing in a mirror. And Sam, he's no fool. He read that horror comic that the Frog Brothers gave him. He knows what's going on. Speaking of the Frog Brothers, let's jump back to them. That is... I'm trying to remember the other dude's name. Of course, the one dude's Corey Feldman. The other guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now. Jason Newlander? Is that it? Maybe? I'm thinking? Something like that. But anyways, the other Frog Brother, who's also coming back for Lost Boys Part 3, who was in the lead scenes of Lost Boys Part 2. Anyways, there's some badass, SOBs running their parents' comic book store for their cover. But really, they're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way of life. And they fully believe that werewolves have control of, City Hall. And they wear camo all the time, badass headbands. Who doesn't want to be a Frog Brother? But anyways, so Sam falls in with them. They, kind of tell Sam what he needs to do. Get a garlic t-shirt. Or stake his brother, one or the other. And so whenever Michael is figuring out he's a vampire, Sam's figuring out he's a vampire, and Michael decides he'd go to the source of the problem, figure out what the fuck's going on. So he goes to see Star at the cave. Star's there alone. They have hot, steamy sex scene. 80s soundtrack ensues. And the next day, he goes back home. They're talking. They're figuring shit out. And they decide they're going to rescue Star and the little kid who's always with them, named Laddie. Right there. Now, see, like Michael, Star and Laddie are only half vampires. You have to make your first kill to become a full vampire in this vampire world. And so all they did was drink the blood wine as well. And he knows he has to kill the head vampire for all the half vampires to come back to normal before they feed and become full-fledged vampires. So now they're on this mission to rescue Michael, Star, and Laddie, kill off the vampires, and kill the head vampire. Only problem is they don't really know who the head vampire is. And I'll leave it at that. Most of you have seen this and know who the head vampire is, and most of you who haven't seen this probably can, if you start watching this, you can figure it out pretty easy, but I ain't going to tell you. But I know I've had fun today just talking about it, and riffing on it. And that's because I've seen this movie more than any other thing, and I love this movie. And whenever you love something, just like your friends, you can rag on it. You can always make fun of your friends, and I can always make fun of my favorite movie. So, this is the Lost Boys. I'm Foz, this is the DVD Fiends. Check me out on my own YouTube, youtube.com/FozRotten, and check out my band Foz at myspace.com/FozRotten. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye, DVD Fiends.